Here we are. Weekly rundown. How's it going, Flux? How you doing?
Good. How's you, Snapper?
Pretty good, man. Been a good week. I just turned 47 years old yesterday, so
Happy birthday. How'd it
do
go?
do. Still here.
Working on the second retirement.
Yep. Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. A lot of changes going on.
Dang.
Yeah. So speaking of that, jump right into the news these days. This big tell me what you did last week email came down. I got my work email open right here at my office at home using my cat card access. It says from HR at opm.gov. We'll probably come back to your derp
Yeah.
setup here after we talk about this one. This one has overshadowed the derp here lately. Okay, from HR at OPM, I got this on Saturday at 10 p.m. So nobody's at work when this email comes out. All it says is, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachment. Deadline is Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so then Elon Musk goes on to X, posts that out, and also says, failure to respond to this email will be considered your resignation.
Yeah.
But he can't really do that.
Yeah.
So turns out, let's see, that I got another email in. So I'm just kind of building the picture with the communication that's been going on over the last number of hours. From, let's see, this is 3-star general at the headquarters Air Force says to the MAGCOM commanders, deputy commanders, and chiefs of staff, an update from SAF MR. Guidance is to instruct your civilian workforce to hold their responses to this email until they receive further guidance.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're generating a message to the force that will include something to the effect of DoD personnel have received an OPM request for information. Department of Defense is responsible for reviewing the performance of its personnel and will conduct any review in accordance with its own procedures. So when and if required, the department will coordinate responses to the email you have received from OPM. For now, please pause any response to OPM email titled what you did last week. What did you do last week? So this sounds like a big Doge OPM. Looks like Doge has some control of OPM, but DOD is like, hold on a minute. We're going to review our own people. You don't just get to jump over us. Is that
Yeah.
what you're seeing?
Yeah. I have the same email pulled up right here. Yeah. Yeah. This is turning into just crazy.
Yeah. So what
Totally
is your take on it? What do you think? Why is this initial email going out in the first place? What are they trying to do?
stress people out.
You think that's what they're trying to do?
I mean, it's not their place to, I mean, I totally agree. It's not their place to be. We don't need to be like sending OPM like weekly bullet points.
Yeah.
Like I could ask Cage right now. You want to give me like he knows everything I'm doing
Yeah. Yeah.
without any question.
So you're seeing it from my perspective looking at this. I hear your response and your take on it. Your perspective is that I'm a dude that's doing my job. This is bullshit. And you're right. This is not what this email is about. This email is to have another tool to catch or find the low-hanging fruit of people that are not actually in there. The next post that came down from
Oh, okay.
Elon is this. He
Yeah,
said,
there you go.
the reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they do not check their email at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, this is outright fraud. So the purpose of this is
Yeah,
to create data points that will allow a better search and filter to find fraud within the system. It's not going to be a high risk to people who are doing their job, and it's not going to be a weekly requirement. So that's what people are up in arms and stuff. I think it's a big swing. It's like a big freaking, I'm laying, wham, dropping it on the table, you know.
yeah,
DOD was like, eh.
it's I did see that there was a chart, a demograph um of how many people are doing what and getting paid, and then it got to like people retired and people that were dead and
Yeah.
see that, and I was like, oh, really? Okay. I didn't even see this message until late last night.
Hey, Cooper.
I kind of really didn't do anything, think really much of it. In case
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know how this affects you since you already hit the button. So, but
Yeah.
I
So
yeah,
are you feeling comfortable in, having taken the delayed resignation program that you're not seeing anything that's making you more concerned about it?
I don't care in the first place. So,
Okay.
I I could care. I mean, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, I'm still doing my thing either way. So I'm, in a much different position than most people, not having wives and kids and past marriages. So I'm totally fine with going off and doing my thing as it is
Yeah.
right now.
Do you feel like you're going to have that paycheck as promised per the delayed resignation or deferred resignation?
I,
What's your over
I
under?
don't I don't really know. I mean, it just seems like a total just, you know, total, shit show.
So you're thinking what, 50-50?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this next week, what we're gonna see some things because the people that have had responses in other agencies, their responses are like, yeah, we're getting everything together. HR is gonna be doing their administrative leave paychecks. A lot of people were saying, like, don't even have to return your equipment. You don't have to do anything. Just keep it, do whatever you need to do. Find another job.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, but that's not that it definitely people wouldn't say what their agencies were, but it doesn't sound like DoD because I haven't seen anyone say that. But I don't know anybody else that's pulled the trigger other than me.
Interesting.
Everyone's trying to, make it to retirement.
Yeah. I looking at that deferred the derp, I'm in the camp that is optimistic. I think you'll get your pay. So I think you did the right thing. So,
Especially now.
yeah.
I'm not stressed out, but everybody else is stressed.
Yeah.
Lack of education, the lack of it is so vague. And it's coming through, OPM. It's just all vague.
Yeah.
And I was already leaving. So I've been planning my exit for over a year.
Yeah.
So for me,
So
I'm
you're
super,
not stressed out about it. You're not freaking out. There are people that are freaking out. That's a good point.
yeah, like I personally don't care.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have it, but I wasn't planning on it. I mean, it's like free money
Yep.
if you get it. But I think, yeah, I just, there's people I know directly in person. They are, they're tripping. They're super stressed about being able to keep their job.
Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people that are kind of losing out with this big sweeping change that's going on. That's for sure. And I'm trying to, on these weekly rundowns, I'm trying to get, I mean, perspective out there too. I've got a different perspective where I'm not nervous because if I lose this job, I've got my retirement that I can fall back on and the family's going to survive. It's not going to be a matter of survival for us.
Yeah.
So I don't have that level of stress that a lot of people do where this is their only thing. That's their livelihood. They could lose their house. They could lose all kinds of things. It's going to be majorly impactful for them and I'm in a fortunate position where my retirement allows me that foundation.
Yeah,
So,
I think, and also, I mean, that would just be ridiculous if they let you go.
but
Like,
for my job, I think they're still deciding if it is mission critical. I think a pilot with the experience that we have, all of our civilian pilots are about as close to the mission critical definition as you can get. So I think that'll come out that way.
especially, like,
Basically,
you
it
know,
is the mission.
being a hog driver, like, there's no more A10s, just holding on in any way you can pass on like CAS and CSAR knowledge for like just this last generation.
Yeah, or just show that attitude and that upbringing that I had is
Yeah.
so different than the attitude, the culture, the way people carry themselves in the latest group of pilots that are coming through this latest generation.
Yeah.
It's a massive culture difference. So I see value in kind of melding the culture and trying to understand where we were coming from 20 years ago versus what people are doing today. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that comes to my top of my head, other than just the average mentality coming into the military, has changed so much from the degrading of like certain discipline within the family unit or lack of family units are even more rampant than they were in the 80s. Um, but it's just this, I can't remember if we talked last weekend, but there's this one guy going through UPT and, you know, blasting videos about it, like, wow,
Oh, yeah, dude. I saw that kid.
like,
Poor guy.
yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's just like, dude, you might make it through UPT, but if people are seeing this later, your IPs are you're gonna like take yourself out like before you even get somewhere.
Yeah.
And um that's in I don't think I've seen it in pilots before. Not like that. I've seen like video being posted in the jet,
It's like hype video stuff, but not like
but it's not
any.
from a UPT student.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I can
yeah,
see
and
where he was coming from on that, but yeah, it's going to be a bad impact down the road when he gets to his unit. He's gonna have to overcome a massive hurdle once he shows up. He's gonna have to develop some credibility and some um
he stops right now, he'll be okay, but he needs to
yeah,
stop.
yeah, he'll have to show himself to be not fully self-absorbed and and bro level, because the way it plays, the way that video showed to me was it just, you're like, man, I don't want to hang out with that guy in my unit. And that's unfortunate. He's trying to do what everybody in his peer group does all the time. Everybody's, public facing social
Yeah.
media presence, but it's
There's
just bad place for it.
certain places where like who cares? You're a pogue anyway. Like you're just hanging out in the office. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, overall in the culture though, that is like happening way too much on all the other jobs.
For what do you mean? For
Like
example,
the,
what?
the TikTok dancing and no surprise Navy, but I mean, I've even seen, Marines doing it, and it's like, yeah, we all know like the straightest gay guys around are Marines. Infantry. Uh, but like showing it, like all the shenanigans in the squad base, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it can come over a way that you didn't intend to a broader audience that you didn't really intend to show it to either.
yeah, it's instant perception on social media. I know about that.
Yeah. You got some experience in that stuff. I'm sure there's going to be experiences down the road if I continue to post stuff on YouTube also.
Yeah, I mean, that's why when I was that guy, I was reading the comments on, that UPT student, and I'm just like, bro, the fighter pilot community can be brutal. And that's what everyone else was saying. I'm like, I know, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's go to other stuff on the weekly rundown here. The F-35 Navy orders have been changed. They got rid of the a number of C model versions for future orders and converted them to B model orders. And so, what's your take on that?
I think it's a good move. Right. Well, I mean, what is the actual application in any wars that like the C models really had?
That's you hit the nail on the head, dude. That's the big question. It has always been this cool, flashy. Hey, we can VTOL. Who fucking cares? What's that give you tactically?
Where are you landing? And like,
Where are
it
you
all,
landing your 10 or however much those things cost? You
yeah,
can't go
like,
austere with one of those.
yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, suck up sand somewhere,
Yeah.
rocks,
So,
and yeah,
yeah.
it's cool with air shows. But and didn't I don't know if this is correct, but in the first year or two, it could only do that for maybe 15 seconds.
Oh, I don't know the details on that.
I know it's like it can go for a while now, but I think that there was in the beginning it couldn't just do it like it
They
does.
had metal fatigue problems with the motors and stuff like that, overheating.
Oh, just
Yeah.
like it's not just they're a lot obviously way better.
Yeah.
Have you seen them like the air shows?
I've seen them at Yuma when I was working out there doing contract close air support. Yuma is one of the Marine bases for the B model F-35. So I'd see them do their VTOL, do their transformer stuff. It was really cool to watch, but
Yeah, they
the
do. They do like this. Uh,
yeah,
all right, cool. Look,
yeah,
we have helicopters.
yeah, but the pilots would be like, we've got less payload, we've got less gas. All these compromises that we've got are we'd rather fly the B model.
Yeah,
So I think it's a good move. And I think there was probably a lot of momentum with just developing and producing that capability um, to take over the Harrier and have something that replaced it. But there never really was a really good use for it. I mean, it never really, we're not getting the benefit out of the cost for that capability. So I think
yeah,
it's a good move.
and they can also focus that time, energy into the same aircraft,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
Navy. So I think having the three different models, I don't.
Unfortunately, we don't get to say, okay, no more C models or whatever the B or C model. I think the C model is the vertical.
Yeah,
Yeah. If we just got rid of those altogether and everybody was B models, maybe we'd get some serious savings then, but who
I,
knows?
yeah,
I think it
like
was a good move.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of tech that they learned though developing it.
Yes. Yep. I
Yeah,
wonder if it applies to future ops.
yeah, yeah.
So much
People,
we don't know.
yeah. There's like people complain so much about the space station and space travel. It's like they legitimately don't have any idea how much that technology being developed has changed so many things on Earth.
Yep. Yep. Life is different now with
Like,
the space station compared to what it would be now without it
yeah,
by a long ways.
I mean, like Tempur-Pedic, like came from like the launch seats.
Interesting.
Is yeah.
Didn't know that. What else here? We got that.
But I
Oh,
mean, it's like that type of like technology was initially like being developed in like the launch seats.
yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of technologies that were developed and matured through space station research and development. So definitely potential that the F-35 C model has created a similar uh, flow into the system of research and development and capability that can translate to other platforms for sure.
Yeah.
So, but the juice worth the squeeze as far as continued programs for that capability that, I may be a little bit ignorant to it. I think I'm one of the people that may have had some insight into it through my career. It just never has shown itself to me as something that's major value added for combatant commanders out in the war zones. And
Yeah.
there may be a niche for it, but
Yeah, and the arenas that we are been in war in.
yeah, it just doesn't pay back.
I mean, it's like where can you land it? It doesn't mess it up except at an air show or at like a base.
You have to have a very specific landing zone to do that vertical landing
Yeah.
without breaking the airplane. Yeah.
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 And then you just have like a fifth gen with like upgrading this maybe some sixth gen tech for better sensor operations, and then it's just what sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
Then you got to call a helicopter to come pick it up anyway. Have you seen them picked up like that by helicopters?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
But damn, down in Yuma, they're fucking cool to watch when they do their transformer. All those flaps open up and
yeah, it's awesome. Looks cool
the
for
jet exhaust turns down. It's pretty money. All right, let's move to the next thing, man. Let's go the purge. So we've got Trump and Hegseth firing CQ Brown, Franchetti, Sliff, all the lead JAGs for all the services. Lots of heads rolling at the Pentagon, and a massively different response depending on which platform you're on. If you're on X, there's a lot of, yeah, this is awesome. If you're on Reddit or if you're on, uh,
yeah, there's such a different version of people in the way they communicate on each platform.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
goes
people
from like
screaming.
juvenile, super extremely juvenile to like a couple people being juvenile and like a couple hundred comment thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's people that are absolutely screaming at the top of their lungs that this is racist, that Trump is, anti-black people. And I'm like, where are you getting this? I don't see that. Um, I see that it's pretty awesome. I mean, if things have not been working out, if we've been on a downward trajectory, clean house, start again from the top.
Yeah.
Do something different. This is something different. Um, I really don't think that people getting upset that this is like a racist thing makes sense. So,
Yeah. I don't
right.
know why people are charged during ridiculous things happening.
Yeah. Um, what else? What do you think about Pete Hegseth? Um, the way he's wrecking shop, the way he's approaching things and what he's doing. He's the new Secretary of Defense. Have you
Not
seen what
really
he's doing or seen him in interviews at all?
pull him up. No, I haven't really been tracking what's going on with him.
Okay.
Pete Hughes or
He's
Higgs?
Pete Hegseth is the new Secretary of Defense. So he's the guy that's making these calls to fire the leaders at the Pentagon. So a lot of the arguments against him are kind of, I think this is the point I want to make with this stuff is if you take these leaders, Trump, Elon, Hegseth, all the new appointees, if you listen to what they say and you give them the benefit of the doubt, this is what's missing in our discourse between the political factions in our country is benefit of the doubt. And if you listen to what these folks say and give them the benefit of the doubt that they are speaking their own truth, they're not just straight up lying to you, then you can come around and say, let's give this a try. We can come together as a team in the United States of both political factions and say, let's see what this approach to it gives us.
Yeah.
I hope that we can get more people doing that because it's disappointing to see that the people who are the opposition to this Trump administration completely disregard the stated intent of the administration from top to bottom, basically asserting that anything that is vocalized or spoken by anyone within that government structure now under Trump is a lie. And so of course you're not going to have good discourse, and you're not going to have good discussions if your out the door assumption is that the person you're talking about is completely lying. So if we can just allow people to give each other the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
I know it's a long road to get there, but if you take what these folks are doing with that benefit of the doubt approach, um, I'm all for it. I'm seeing a lot of things moving. And honestly, with the position I'm in, you said you're okay with whatever happens with the deferred resignation. If you get paid or not, you're in a position where it doesn't matter. For me, I'm in a position, luckily, that I do have my retirement, and I would be willing to not complain or whine or be pissed off if my job goes away because of this cut or these series of cuts that come up. My perspective on this is that the bigger picture is the health of our republic in the long term. And there's going to be losers individually. There's going to be stories where people are cut out that didn't want to be cut out. But the bigger picture is we're going to get a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse removed from the system, and it's going to be better for the health of the United States of America for the long term. And I believe that's the case. So, um,
Yeah, and it's like they're gonna go, revamp hiring or just pay more attention and not hiring more people than need to be. And then people can come back and try and get new government jobs down
yep,
the line. And then I think, yeah, you just have to like do a reset, try and get rid of as much of the people that are non-productive out of there the easiest way possible.
yeah,
And then, doing what they're kind of doing now is, I don't know if it's stressing people intentionally or they're being vague on purpose. I mean, that's definitely a way to get people like moving on.
they're chopping with a freaking executioner's axe right now in these
Yeah.
methods that they're using.
Yeah. And so the people that make it through whatever this is and want to stay, there won't be as many people to like have so much personnel individually interviewing people. I
Yeah,
mean, performance reviews are coming up. Um, I think there was supposed to be like a palm this year coming up for the next 5 years
yeah,
with the OG. And like, what's the total next 5 year budget supposed to be overall?
yeah.
Obviously, it's supposed to include the T7 and, what's going to go into like getting ready for that as far as training pipelines and preparing for it.
Yeah, dude. The the near rocks have become so different than anybody talking about the T7. It's
Yeah.
the near rocks are like, what does the workforce look like next week? We can't
Yeah.
look 2 years down the road and go, oh, T7 is going to be this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just saying that, we're already about to be at a point where everyone's doing performance
Yeah,
reviews, yearlies. We're already at this point where the budget for like 5 years is here, the next five. So it's best to get rid of as many people that are easy to get rid of right now
yeah,
today. I
yeah.
see that.
I
And,
hope we catch a bunch of fraud too with this one, with this latest email report, what you did last week.
yeah, well,
You know,
there's
didn't you
definitely,
say, like, without
yeah,
saying too much about what
like,
you've heard, can
yeah,
you verify or confirm that there has
definitely,
been
it's
some,
definitely happening and at high level.
was there
Like,
some people that found like fraudulent accounts?
uh, that happened, but there was also people still within the Air Force, officers, high level, collecting somewhere wherever they're at for years.
Like, so without getting into identifiable details, you were able to see and understand that iterations of people who are still active duty were taking, or were no longer active duty, were taking active duty pay,
Yes. Well, they're active duty.
but they were taking GS position pay
Yeah. No, 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 no. Active duty officers
that were just,
collecting their pay. Have you
but
gone?
not at work.
Yeah, yeah. And, there's only supposed to be X amount of high level people within each organization. Um, and there's definitely multiple ones within an organization on top of the only one that's supposed to be at an organization. And so,
Is that just are you talking about like
talking about these people that are still, I mean, they're real people. They're not dead. They're not retired. I mean, as far as we know, like,
is that a documenting problem? Like getting the paperwork to get square? Like there's two names that are currently listed in some list that say they are the commander of X. Is that
part
what
of
you're talking about?
it. Yeah, I mean, it says they're assigned to X organization, have been getting paid. Um,
But they haven't physically been around for years. Yeah.
since people left during COVID.
I wonder if that is a documentation problem or if that is a fraud problem. There'd have to be quite a bit more detail developed,
That,
at least
oh
for.
yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we don't want to talk into detail.
About it again.
So, wow.
It's 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 within our or within the organizations that we
Yeah.
work with for sure.
Yeah. Wow. A lot to shine the flashlight onto. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of
Yeah, it's
efficiency
within. I could
developed.
say this with JBS. It's within JBSA.
Yeah.
We were starting to find out how many people were supposed to come back to work last Monday or the Monday before. That's when like people started seeing like the rosters of, you know,
It may
of,
just be that the rosters are old and outdated.
it could be
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, because they
So,
said, yeah, it could be that. But it was still eye-opening.
yeah. Yeah.
Things need to be micromanaged. But like our senior master sergeant, he was just saying that all those guys at Manpower are like losing their minds right now, and they're all, ancient
Yeah.
7-year-old dudes, just like what the heck, especially once people actually are gone from the deferred resignation and are like cut loose, they're just, I mean, it's just my PD's so wrong, and I've been trying to get it changed for years,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't help. It was wrong. So now they don't got a choice. They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those guys might that workforce might reduce itself real quick. Some old guys might just start dropping.
Can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the word on the streets is that there's going to be hiring freeze, more firings coming, more turmoil, and it's going to be a while before this stuff shakes out and calms down. It's a crazy time. It's I don't know what to say. It's hold on, buckle in.
Yeah.
But you've already
Yeah.
got your transition on the way out set up, so you've actually got some smooth sailing to just.
Yeah. I just want to like let me know what's going on as fast as possible because otherwise I'll just leave. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to like hang out for months waiting for it to go through. I'd rather just leave if that's the
Yeah.
case.
Man, I'm all buckled in waiting for the potholes.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're just like getting rid of people, and it's like, well, who are you removing from like what part of the process of how organization works? And if you
yeah.
can't really feel that, this is just like people getting removed from different pieces that are, connecting the dots for an organization to work, and then all of a sudden the whole organization becomes dysfunctional.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
probably
going to
is like
happen a lot.
the potholes you're referencing.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
there's a few organizations that'll get wrecked from those potholes.
yep. Well, dude, I hope we get to get you coordinated and set up to fly again. Hopefully we get to fly one more time before you peace out and
Yeah,
get done.
yeah,
That'd be awesome. We'll get some
yeah,
video up of that if it happens.
yeah. Yep, that would be awesome.
So right on, man. What else do we want to talk about here? Oh, the CRJ.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of viral content out there about that crash up in Canada in the snowstorm. A lot of politically charged assertions that are being put out there and opinions about the pilot. I will say that objectively, the experience level of that pilot and the conditions that were at hand were challenging conditions, low experience pilot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, again,
um,
it's just like it's just like why is every crash all of a sudden just, that demographic? Did you see
yeah,
the video where, it was another company manning the aircraft?
yes. And they have like this hype video that's the unmanned thing, it's all women. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. I
Yeah,
don't
but
care if it's all women. Good for you
yeah,
women that want to be pilots, but don't be like, hey, it's cool because I'm a woman. I don't see that. Hey, are you a good fucking pilot?
yeah,
Awesome. Let's talk about that part. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight,
yeah.
woman, man, doesn't matter. Are you good at your job? So,
Yeah, they need to start saying, the next time an astronaut goes to space, like a white American middle-aged male, like 190th white dude in space. It's
yeah.
awesome.
I
You
mean,
know,
it's the same thing,
it's
isn't it?
like yeah, it can't, it's just crazy the ridiculousness that like I don't want to play into the fact that like it's just a bunch of DEI hate and hires, and I don't want to get on that bandwagon,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, Black Hawk, this, and there's another incident, and it's just, and then I mean, there's plane crashes all the time, and how much is the narrative being driven to like hate on that
Yep.
now that it's a different like regime in place with the presidency?
Yeah. It
It's so easy to see people getting driven by narrative, by media, and they
yeah.
just play into it so much.
Yeah. Very easy to get drawn
Emotional.
into that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like if it seemed, people are generally not stoked on life, unfortunately. A lot of people don't have much going on or enough income, and things are crazy. And yeah, it's super easy. Like they don't have that. I don't know. It's hard to not get sucked into negativity and drama, and it's hard to like block all that out when you haven't really experienced like your personal experience like totally kicking butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And like when you start doing successful things, or at least what makes you happy, the first thing you know to do is like as soon as negativity comes around you is like get it out of
Yep.
here.
Yep. Don't need
Otherwise,
that.
yeah.
So as that airplane crash goes, the interesting things about that airplane crash is physically crashing into a field of snow saved a lot of lives, I think, because the spread of that fire when the wings broke off and it rolled the long ways,
Yep.
it removed the fuel tanks from the equation and it was able to put that fire out with all the snow, and
Yeah,
unbelievable that it was no fatalities.
crazy. I don't think ever heard of a plane crash like that, of anyone really walking away.
Yep, never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
That's
that first wing ripping off just like made it all like happen really.
yep.
You just the fuel coming off, huge factor.
Yeah, unbelievable. The snow though, you're like the thinking through the experience of a passenger on that airplane. So you're coming from looking out the window and then slam and holy shit, we're gonna die. And you have this extended experience of we're gonna fucking die in a ball of flame. There's fire all around you. You're rolling around, you're sliding to a stop, and you're like
The
hanging
crew,
upside
I mean,
down. I'm still fucking here. What?
and like it was handled super professional from the perspective of where they were filming them coming out, you know, there was I would have expected a lot of people to be a lot more panicked.
Yeah. Yep. I was impressed with um, what I saw in those videos on how the rescue personnel and the flight crew
Yeah,
managed it. That was pretty money.
yeah, yeah. And like the rear of the plane's like on fire,
Yeah.
and it looked like people are getting out. Like, yeah, super good. Everyone was pretty chill.
But then your experience as the passenger, you're hanging upside down, everything's stopped, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna exit the airplane," uh, and
That's it.
then you get out of the airplane, crawling on the roof, and you get into the freaking snow and ice, and now you're going through hypothermia, and just what a that's a good book right there. Tell that story, describe that story, or a podcast at least.
Someone's gonna make a movie out of it.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're gonna call Tom Hanks up again.
Yeah, there's probably going to be movies. Yeah. Well, that's a good broad picture of what has happened in the last week. What do you think? You want to go under any other topics?
What else is going on lately? This week's been pretty slow for me this week on current events.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I do have one more. I do have one more. Okay. This one's going to be like on Elon too. I want to see what I can do this week on messaging the right people to get a let's investigate this bug in the ear of the Doge, and it's relating to Starlink internet service cost for different people. Depending on who you are, it could cost you $140 a month for service for Starlink, or it could cost you $260,000 a month for Starlink service.
And it's
And
out.
the
Well,
the one that gets to pay $260,000 a month is the US government through a third-party broker contractor to provide that service as a official channel service. I think it should be explained publicly why that service of one Starlink receiver antenna should cost $260,000.
and then find
That to
out
me is
that
about as abusive as it gets.
yeah, and then like figure out who that company that contractor is and get rid of them and find out how much they've been ripping everyone off for everything
Yeah.
else.
And I want to know if that cost is in any way pushed by Starlink, Elon Musk's company. And if Elon Musk is benefiting by it, then that needs to come out. That needs to be
100%.
shown.
Yeah.
So that is a conflict of interest, is as clear a definition as you get it right there. So
Yep.
this week, part of my work is going to be to try to develop the pathway to communicate that and to ask the question to the right people and see if we can get some good feedback on answering some questions.
You can hit up Dan Crenshaw.
Yes, that would be a good avenue.
Sure, within the Bro Network, there's a way to get a hold of him.
Okay.
There's got to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
I've got enough connections to start putting feelers out there and see where we need to go with it.
If you can get a hold of him, then he could get a hold of the White House.
Yeah. There is very likely, before anybody gets their panties in a bunch, there's very likely a lot of data that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But this is one of those that it looks bad, it smells bad. There's going to have to be a whole lot of something that I am not aware of to make this make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely common for enterprise licenses to cost more, but there definitely isn't a reason to.
Especially in today's world with the Starlink satellite network and the internet provider capability cost for function to the general population around the globe, that cost difference is ludicrous and should not be the case. I can see that argument if you are a if you're a different country in a war zone that needs specific internet capability like Ukraine that is safe from hacking from another
Yeah.
combatant country, that is worth that cost. But we're talking about home continental United States, US standard non-encrypted internet service at $260,000 a month for a panel that can handle 10 users at not even, I mean, slow speeds with low data rates.
Yeah.
To me, it's ludicrous.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the, there's a lot of people that definitely are not doing things at work, but I've been in the business of saving taxpayers millions of dollars with the work that I do.
Yep.
But the things that I just tired of seeing over and over is these contractors that I know firsthand are ripping the government and taxpayers off. And yeah, there's a lot. It's not just GS government employees. It's our contractees.
Yeah. And that I think is going to be another chapter after we get this GS thing kind of flushed
Yeah.
through and a couple rounds of figuring GS out. There's going to be a contractor purge.
Yeah, because that definitely is a place where we really need to start because we need to get rid of all these and then like have somebody overseeing the way contracts are written.
And that's the tough part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just shouldn't cost that much.
Yep.
It needs to be line items for everything that like they have to prove,
Yep.
like you could hire me back and I'm not gonna just all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm $1 million a year now.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I'm
what a
gonna
lot of people do though.
no, yeah, but I don't want like I'm not interested in doing that.
Yep.
I'd come back as a contractor and do the same thing. I just won't be here every day,
Yeah.
you know?
Just be paid for service as rendered. Yep.
Yeah, and like instead of like always budgeting X amount of money for me to do TDYs every year as a GS, I'm just saying like, well, I'm living out of the country. It's gonna cost this amount and nothing crazy. Pay
Yeah.
for my beer. Yeah.
I think that comes from you and me. We both kind of have the long-term perspective and an idea that the health of the country is a bigger picture. It's something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're willing to put that perspective into practice in how we manage our interactions with our job and our compensation.
Yeah.
And not enough people have that perspective and operate that way. And I think it's commendable that you do that and you have that perspective. I dig that about you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that scheme.
Yeah.
Like it's gross.
Yeah. Well, hey, that was a good rundown. Let's do it again next week. We're
All
going to
right.
sign off. You got any last words, brother?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. We will see you tomorrow.